Hi guys, it's Stacy and I have a bit of a haul video for you today. Just a few things that I've picked up over the last week or so. I have a couple of things from Joann's. Even though these were Tim Holtz and they were 60% off, I didn't realize it until I was leaving. I think they were only 40% off. And I think this one, well, this one I believe was on clearance. That one was, I think $9. It was $8.97 like this one, but it was a clearance. This one I think was 40% off of this, and I didn't catch it till I had already left, and they don't do refunds. I wasn't going to go back. It ended up paying like $3 more, so check your pricing. Make sure you're getting your discounts. And then I went ahead, and I think this one was about $6 too. One was like $5.98 or $4.98, $5 or $6. And I've used this one already. I've got a card coming up with this, so stay tuned for that Saturday. So I went ahead and picked up 2 of those because I figured they were going to be inexpensive, and it's nice to have extras if you're like doing hello, so you need 2 L's, or happy. I picked this up 60% off of this. I wasn't going to get it because there was nothing to color, but I do like the stars and I like the Merry Christmas, so I went ahead and got it because I've been enjoying playing around with mixed media. That's it for Joann's, I believe. I think I got more stuff before that I didn't share with you guys from there, but my husband picked me up these stencils on Amazon. Look at all these stencils because I've been enjoying the mixed media, so I'm going to go real fast through them, and they're good size. I think they're like 4 by, I don't know, 8 or something like that. So there's those, and they were $14.99. They ended up being like 80 some odd cents a piece. And they're decent quality, like they're thick. They're a little bit thinner than, now see there's little bits in there though. You just pop it out. A little bit thinner than like the ones that come in these. There's those. And they have all different kinds of styles. I think there were 18 in this set. So there's that. And there's different sets too. It's not just this one, but this is the one I chose. So I said, babe, I like those. And he said, okay. And he ordered them for me. So there's those. And these ones, that one's pretty. You could use that for roses or even succulents. That. So some of them I'm like, I don't know, but you know, I'm really surprised on some of the things I was like, about, and playing around with mixed media, how well some of those things actually go with other things. So there's those. Let's do Michael's real quick. So went there today with my daughter, and they had this fabric, and it's a yard, and it was on clearance for $3 per thing. And this one is about a bunch of different fruit. See, it's like watermelon seed. So I liked this watermelon. It went really well. And this, I'll make a bag out of. This will be the outside, and it'll be lined with this, which I'll be making. I need to make more because they're getting rid of it to where we can't have bags in our state anymore. And I have bags, but sometimes I forget them, or my husband forgets them. Like my daughter took me out today, and we went out together, and I forgot bags. So this was a new paper pad. There was a few new paper pads, guys, but I didn't really like most of them. And this one I like some of, but not all of it, but for $5. And it has like this iridescent on there. I don't know if you can see that. The camera's going to pick that up. It's not a foil. It's like an iridescence. Kind of one like you get those color shifting stickers. Did you ever buy those as kids out of the sticker machine? I liked this one because it had smaller prints, which since I make cards, that's nice. And I could actually take this and use this on a card and layer some stuff on it, or use some of the pink. But there's that one. Just try to be real quick. I'm sure a lot of people have these out. This one's pretty. See, and this one has that like iridescence layer on it. So the flowers do, here's some of the flowers, and then it's like all the way over these. Hopefully this is fully in frame. Yeah, for the most part. Okay. See, now this one has it completely. I don't know if that's going to show up, if it's showing up on camera, but it's completely, it's like coated. So it's like a transparent iridescence completely over it. These kind of remind me of Lay's from Hawaii. And you cut that out and put it at the bottom of a card. You can make envelopes out of this larger paper too. Same thing with this one, it has that coating. I'm sure they call it foil, but it's like, there's those cut aparts. Little flowers here. This is the only one I kind of liked. There was, you know, some of the other ones had a couple of patterns I liked, but for the most part, I looked at them and some of them were pretty, but just not usable for me that I could see. So, and being a dining room crafter, I don't have as much space. See, these you could cut up in strips, and it has that iridescence there too. That's the last one. Okay. That. I also got this self-healing mat. Of course, teal's my favorite color. Thought it'd be good in the background when I show cards, because I just bring a piece of paper because I have this new giant mouse pad. It's like a desk pad. And I like it because I just colored directly on it because it's not going to get stained with my Copics, but to help with the glare on the lights. So this was on clearance for $7, which I saw this and then I was going to order it online and they said they didn't have any in stock, but it was there. I mean, that's not bad for self-healing, even though it says it's for fondant. It's the same. I did get this like sponge and soap dispenser from Hobby Lobby, and literally the thing broke off the front before I even got it home. And the guy wrapped it, so I guess it was a weak spot. I got these couple of paper pads, and I'm not sure if they were there or not last time, but I'll do it like a quick flip through. So maybe this one was, because that one has like some fruits in it. I don't know if I've showed these on my channel because I don't know if I already had them. So maybe you haven't seen them. There's that one, and you get 3 of each, and you know, Paper Studio was 40% off this week, so that one's pretty with the wood grain and the blue flowers. I don't know what it is about floral prints right now. I'm really liking it. I even got a bunch of material with floral prints, and that's, you know, it reminds me of like the 80s, you know, when I was a teenager. But I do have a black like hoodie that has bright rose pink roses on it, and it reminds me of something from like the 80s. You probably have seen the sleeves. Hi Joni, if you're watching. She was like, oh, I love your shirt and your ring. I couldn't take my eyes off of them. And I was like, uh-oh, they stole the show. Oh, that's pretty. I like that one. And that one. I probably would have got more, but I'm really trying not to spend. And I got this to make a bag out of. I'll have to look and see what I have in my fabric stash for the lining. But I thought this was really cute because the chickens have, it to me, they almost look like quilted chickens, or like they're made out of fabric, see, like, so. And I can get a decent sized bag out of 2 fat quarters. So Paper Studio was 40% off. I went ahead and got some gold and silver little baubles, because I don't think I have the like gold and silver. I have a lot of other ones. And then what I went there for was this paper trimmer. I was making a mixed media card, and I don't want to bring and use my giant guillotine, like it's as big as my desk. And then the smaller one I have is too small. And then like your slider paper trimmer, it's hard to trim through like watercolor paper and layered up cardstock. So I went ahead and picked this up. I mean, for $18.99, I think it's like the Fiskars, probably like the We Are Mimi Keepers. Sizzix, I think, has one. I bet you they're made basically probably the same and just branded for each company. So I'll be using it probably in upcoming videos, and if it's no good, I'll let you guys know. And then I picked up some Tim Holtz stuff since I've been experimenting with the mixed media. And I mean, $5 for what I think is, you know, essentially tissue paper, I believe. I was like, ouch, but I really want to give it a go. Sorry guys, I didn't think about it, but it probably says the size on here. I mean, it's 5 by, I don't know, it's probably 5 by 7. So I'm gonna go ahead and open them. Maybe I should have these open for you guys already so you don't have to hear the crinkling, but I'll do my best not to have that. Just so we can flip through them real quick, even though they're on the back here and on the front. But I won't take the time to put them back in here until after the video. So yeah, essentially is what it's like. It's like tissue paper. But you could buy like different holiday time tissue paper. But for the mixed media, I wanted to try it, or even napkins and separate. I see a lot of napkin cards. So there's that one. So I wouldn't like use it in its entirety. I would probably take some water so it tears, and then like put it on there, and then use my glue or my Mod Podge or to decoupage it essentially, and then do the rest of my mixed media over it. I mean, I've really been having fun. And I'd like to really learn to incorporate my bright style that I like to make my cards out of cherry with the kind of grungy look, and try to marry them in between. So, there's that one. And then I got some other stuff too. I'll try to go through this really fast. Let's see. There's that. Yeah, that's essentially what this is tissue paper. Well, you could see the one that's stuck together. I'm not going to take the time because I don't want to keep you guys here too long. I don't know if anybody there. I don't know if anybody's really interested in seeing the individual because it is on the packaging. But yeah, it's essentially, you know, I knew it was going to be like tissue paper. I bet you could take tissue paper and stamp on it with permanent ink and get a very similar look. And I'll have to try that, guys. I'm sure like mixed media artists already know all the tricks and whatnot, but I'm sure you can color it, and I'll have to try it because I do have a bunch of tissue paper from the holidays. Like, you get it for a present, and then, you know, when you get, you know, maybe you got a last minute birthday party, or you got to give a present, and then you're like, you know, you need to get, you know, get a cute bag and some tissue paper, and then you can't find your tissue paper. So next time you're out, you're like, do I have tissue paper? So you buy more. That's me. I have a bunch of it. So I'm going to have to, yeah, I should have thought about that. But so back here. So the other one is like florals and butterflies, and like one of the stamp sets I have of his, and stencil set. And so I think some of these are repeating. They are. So I'm not going to keep going through it. I'm pretty sure they repeated. So there must be 2 of each. It's kind of nice that they separate them like that though, right? Because how thin they are, you're seeing that they were sticking together. So they put both of them together, and then you go to take a piece, you might be using 2 instead of 1. So there's that. This one is florals, and I thought this was gorgeous. And so this was the first one I saw, because like I said, I've been really enjoying florals. And these were $4.99 a piece. I think I already said that. So it's funny because over half of, I think, what I bought was, the cost was from these Tim Holtz stuff. Remember when Tim Holtz used to go on sale at Hobby Lobby, when they used to have it all the time and it was 50% off? They'd have like 50% off sales. I asked the cashier, I'm like, does it ever go on sale anymore? It's like, no, it used to. And I said, yeah, it used to go for 50%. And he's like, yeah, you've been coming here for a long time. So it's been a few years. I'm like, yeah. So there's that one. I have the stamp that's like this, which I think is beautiful. Can you see these flowers? Man, I don't know if I'm gonna have the patience for that. those that pull the flowers apart, or the napkins apart, the multiple layers. There's that one and that one. I wonder if these could be like, I bet you could, you know, decoupage over them, whatever sealant you're using, and possibly even paint. Like watercolor, or I'm sure I've seen stuff, but I don't know exactly what's what, because some, like Mod Podge, will actually repel water. Some sealants do, but I'm sure there's some like clear type of gesso that you can, that'll absorb it. I don't know if that's what it's called, or sealant. I'm sure if somebody's who's a mixed media person will tell me or correct me. All right, there's a lot in here though for that price. I can't see myself using all this stuff anytime soon. Not with this amount, but who knows? The last few projects I've done have been mixed media. There's that one. I'm not even gonna flip them over. So yeah, it looks like it repeats, because here's the, so there's those. Sorry if, I mean, well, there's the fast forward. And then I got this set here. And I almost bought 2 of these because, like I said, I've been liking florals. So there's what comes in it. I'll flip it over for you guys, for who don't want to sit around and watch. But, and these were, oops, $7.49. Hopefully there's not a big old glare from those. So I'm not going to go through like each little piece of ephemera, but I mean, as you can see, they're like florals, which is nice, and it doesn't have a coating, so it should take ink or sprays. So there's a whole bunch in here. So there's that. Need a couple little strips here. That one looks like it even has a piece that pops out of the center. Yep. Okay. And I liked that this paper was kind of already, this is supposed to be like the end of a remnant, probably a fabric. That's what that reminds me of like fabric for a pattern. And it's not real heavy, guys. I don't know what the weight is, but what's nice is if you are using it similar to like the, or layering it up, it's not going to be too heavy. I like that it has a little bit of texture, like a linen texture, which I'm sure it's supposed to be that. I think it's like called wallpapers or something. Yeah, wallpaper scraps is what it says. Oh, this is pretty. So does anybody have an Eco Tank printer? I'm thinking about upgrading because my printer, the ink for it, every time we have to replace it, is about $100. And it doesn't print that many copies or prints, and then if it sits for and isn't used, the ink, like, I don't know if it dries up or what. And it's a Canon. I love the printer itself, but I was like, maybe we should just invest in an Eco Tank printer, because we can get one for about $200 to $300 and not have to, you know, buy ink for it for a while. I know the downside is that you have to clean the print heads, but fun fact, I used to work for a company that they sold, back in the day, they sold printers and copiers, and they were huge. I remember I moved away from where they were at to a different state. Another company, just because I worked for them, hired me. They were excited to have me. So here's this one, because that company knew the stuff. But you know, that was many moons ago. Things have changed. That was back when companies could only afford to have printers and copiers. Now we have all-in-ones at home. Back when you had to get toner. So same weight. There's no texture to these ones. This one's textured. Oh, it looks like these are larger too. Yeah, they are. So these are, it's not the best ruler to measure with, 10 by 6. Right? Yeah, 10 by 6. And I thought this was cool with the ledger and stuff and the map. But this kind of stuff I could probably print out on my printer, like, because you can get free things on the internet from certain sites will have it where it's legal and copyright free, or they just give it up for free, or you pay for subscription. Oh, these are two-sided, guys. So that's why I was asking if anybody has an ink and tank printer and what you think of it. So there's the back side. I like these old, like, ledger looking. I mean, I'm sure they directly came from one. There's some crackle in there. Does that say 97, 87? Is that 18 or 1900? Probably 1900. Anyway. Old moldy paper, that's what that reminds me of. Look at the flowers. I don't know what it is. It's just I've been seeing flowers everywhere and they're growing on me, or what? I'm gonna look at these closely later. It's kind of fun. Do you remember when you were a kid and you had all the letters up in the classroom? You had to write them over and over X amount of time, and they don't even teach cursive anymore. I think they brought it back though. This one, I wonder what this one's called, because it has a lot of different, like, ledgers, and it's called backdrops. It looks like some old school books, like it, because it's talking about different classes. Look how ornate the writing was back in the day. My cousin has writing very beautiful like that, and he's, for a guy, he's, you know, a lot of guys write sloppy. Not all, but I always thought he had really pretty penmanship. My husband has writing like that too. It's super pretty. That one looks like a paint pour or something. So, oh, there's one more thing I got. So, my husband is a Jeeper, and I wish I would have grabbed a couple more of these, because at first I was thinking, about him. I'm like, I could probably do something silly with it for him. Because he likes my cards. I try not to do little kitty ones, but at some point I'll bring in a couple I've made for him. And I've got some interactive ones that, there was one that a lot of people asked me how I made it. I'll have to show you guys. So they have little Jeeps, but what I thought about after the fact is I picked up a bunch of cute little ducks at Target from the dollar spot for my husband to duck other Jeeps. And I thought, he could write, you know, something on here about being ducked for those that don't know what it is. Most people have a Jeep know. And I guess it was just created, I think, during the pandemic, or I don't know, maybe a little bit before that, by a woman in Canada who just started it and it picked up. So these were 50 cents for this entire thing. So there's all these different colors. And I didn't really think about it. Looks like I might have got one extra. I didn't think about it until after the fact, but I'm like, he could put them with the ducks when he ducks a Jeep and then write something on the back. And I've, like, crocheted ducks for him to duck Jeeps. And so, and I got plushies for Easter for him to duck Jeeps. Anyway, that's it, guys. I will have a card share tomorrow with a process video that's a fun one. And I hope you guys are having a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.